välkomna tillbaka till Skandinavium. Vi ska ju starta dressyrblocket här. Det är FEI Dressage World Cup, en CDIV Grand Prix som presenteras av Agria. Men vi ska inleda med hjälp av Alice Torgersen och den svenska nationalsången.
Du gamla, du fria, du fjällhöga nord, du tysta, du glädjerika sköna. Jag hälsar dig, vänaste land upp på jord. Din sol, din himmel, dina ängder gröna. Din sol, din himmel, dina ängder gröna. Du tronar på minnen från fornstora dagar. Då är att ditt namn flög över.
Gothenburg, the second largest city in Sweden, situated on the west coast, an important seaport. It's known for its Dutch-style canals and leafy boulevards. It's home to Volvo and the Gothia Cup, the world's largest youth football tournament. But here it welcomes the best riders of the world, from show jumping and, of course, dressage to Gothenburg. Hello and a very warm welcome to the FEI World Cup Dressage here in Gothenburg, Sweden. The FEI World Cup is the most prestigious individual competition in the international dressage calendar, a truly global series that started in 1985 and that covers 4 leagues across the world, including the Pacific, North American, Central European, and the Western European League. We welcome you to this leg 10 here in Gothenburg. That isn't the current standings of this class. Sorry about that graphic on the screen just there a second. But here are the official standings for the finals so far. Nanna, Skodborg, Merrald in second place with 64 points. That is also actually not the current standings either. So sorry about this. Equal fourth, Bianca Nowag-Aulenbrock. She'll be coming forward today. And in sixth, Nanna, Skodborg, Merrald. In equal eighth, Borja Carrascosa. He'll be coming forward as well today. Sorry, not quite sure. Not quite sure what's going on with our graphics today. I do apologise for that. So here you can see the warm-up and the crowds are filling up. Such an amazing arena here in Gothenburg. One of our biggest stadiums on the Western European League. And today we bring you this FEI World Cup Grand Prix sponsored by Agria. And here's the grand jury: at E, Alice Schwab from Austria; at H, Suzanne Barup from Denmark; at C, Maria Sanders van Ganswinkel from the Netherlands; at M, Magnus Ringmark from Sweden; and at B, Mats Eriksson from Sweden. There is Maria Sanders van Ganswinkel, our president of the grand jury for the Grand Prix today. And here is the start list. Some relatively new combinations coming forward first. Dorothee Schneider hasn't been out for a little while. The start order goes in relation of world ranking. So you can see our highest ranking riders there at the end, including Nanna, Skodborg, Merrald, Cathrine Laudrup-Dufour, Maria von Essen. 17 combinations coming forward in today's Grand Prix, and you can already see that our first combination is in the arena. It is Katharina Lorentzen Lund from Norway and Tiara de Lorenzida, a 13-year-old Norwegian warm-blood mare by Blue Horse Zach. A combination from the Baltic Championships in June last year. They finished 10th in the Grand Prix with 65.4%, her personal best. 4th in the special and in the freestyle with 70.8, another personal best. They also had good results in the Christiansand 3-star with 64.1 in the Grand Prix, the 6th place. So Katharina Lorentzen Lund and Tiara de Lorenzia for Norway. Just resting the hind leg in that first initial halt, but some nice steps there in the extended trot. This mare has lovely natural cadence to her trot, Nice there in the frame. Just like to see a little bit more of a secure contact there in the half pass. Shoulder leading nicely with good crossing. Yeah, didn't quite establish the immobility there in the hold. Actually came up really nice and square and then just slightly fidgeted. Keep the energy coming in the piaffe. Yeah, it was slightly in two halves, but really good improvement through the piaffe there. You could see that the mare just backed off slightly. So it was slightly travelling, but she kept the activity in that second half. Nice relaxation there in the walk. Keeping the activity in the walk and tracking up well. Keeping a good rhythm in the walk. Could have a bit more shoulder freedom. And just see it doesn't quite have the fluency there in the collected walk. There's a little bit of tension in those front legs. And again, they're slightly travelling in the piaffe, but you can see a clear difference between the piaffe, the passage. And a nice transition up into the canter. Into the two-time changes now. Nice and fluent here. Big ground covering changes, a little bit of swaying. But clean, clear, precise changes. She used the whole diagonal line. They were nice and active. Again, fairly good fluency through the canter zigzag there down the centre line. Looking fairly symmetrical. Again, we'd just like to see a slightly quieter mouth. Yeah, better there. It was a little bit long to establish in those one-time changes. You could see that Katharina asked for the first one and the horse just didn't come with a response straight away, but a nice clean line of ones there. Yeah, nice in the canter pirouette. Lovely collection, lovely sitting. Oh, that was a pity on the change there. Yeah, nice through the canter pirouettes. A real highlight for this combination. Scoring 7s and 7.5s from our judges for both. mare stays in a really nice frame through this test. You can just see though that the mouth does open occasionally, and so that will be losing her marks consistently. But the mare has a lovely natural cadence. And this combination is still so new to International Grand Prix. A really young rider. It's great to see her making that jump to senior Grand Prix and coming out here for the World Cup. It is Katharina Lortensen Lund and Tiara de Lonsenta for Norway. A really lovely combination. It's looking like it's going to be a personal best for this pair. Really lovely canter pirouettes. The Piaffe today slightly travelling, which lost her a few marks, and of course a slightly busy mouth through the test, but super consistent, really nice through the 2 lines of tempes. You can see that the mare is nice and shows good suppleness through the canter and the trot half passes. As I said, she has great lift and cadence. She's only 13 years old, this mare, and as I said, Katharina still so new to senior Grand Prix. A really lovely elastic horse. A nice correct ride from this pair. A nice mistake-free test, ridden very accurately. 65.652 for Katharina. Our combination for Norway. So there you can see Katharina leaving the arena and heading back to the warm-up area. Next up is a combination for Germany. It is Dorothee Schneider and First Romance 2, a 15-year-old by First Romancia. A long-standing combination. They've been together through International Small Tour, make it to Grand Prix in 2021. This is actually their first ever World Cup together. However, they've enjoyed many podium finishes and wins at CDI 4 and 5-star level. Some of their best results came in Fontainebleau CDI 5-star in April last year, where they finished second in the Grand Prix with 75%, and in the freestyle with their personal best of 82.2. They then had a break from internationals from May 2023 to December last year and came back for the Frankfurt CDI 5-star in December, finishing 4th in the Grand Prix with 70.8. Dorothee Schneider now for Germany and First Romance 2. A nice entry for Dorothee. Really nice there through the extension, a lovely frame. You can see her frame extending as well as the stride length there. Super positioning and crossing through the half pass. Could maybe just have a little more bend there towards the end of the half pass left. Super consistent in the contact, really nice in the frame. Beautiful balance coming down into the halt and keeping that frame through the rein back. Really nicely ridden there by Dorothee. This lady has so much experience. She's competed in 3 Olympics, a World Championships and European Championships, picking up 6 golds and 3 silvers along the way. Just maybe take a little bit more risk there through the extensions. Maybe she's saving that for tomorrow's freestyle. Fluent transitions from the passage to the piaffe. And great relaxation here in the walk. Taking a nice stretch, a very, very clear over track with good ground cover. Good here in the collected walk as well, keeping good energy. And straight away up into a nice passage. Good activity. Keep that coming. Yeah. Just losing the piaffe there. That's a real pity with the timing there, with the droppings. When you need to go, you need to go. That has affected not only the piaffe, but also, of course, the transitions in from the piaffe to the passage. Oh, not completely through behind on a couple of those changes. Nicely shown through the extended canter. Again, could maybe just take a little more risk from that. But this horse consistently stays in such a lovely soft contact. He looks like he's giving Dorothee a really nice ride. Just a few counting errors there through the canter zigzag. A mistake in one of the changes. I think it was the second one. Yeah, better here in the ones. Little pat there at the end of that line for Dorothee to First Romance. Beautiful preparation for the canter pirouette. Dorothee always gives these horses such clear aids. She gives them time to prepare for each movement. Beautiful half halts to allow those pirouettes to be nice and balanced and well centered. First one could have maybe had a little bit more jump, but the canter pirouette to the right was really super. Nice and uphill through the canter work. So down the final centre line now. Good there in the rhythm, in the passage. Really nice air time. Beautifully straight. Dorothee really doesn't throw away any marks. Yes, better activity coming in. She's allowing the piaffe there to travel, to keep that activity. And this is the thing, it's all about giving these horses confidence. They know they've got to come back into the arena tomorrow for the freestyle. So they want to have a really nice confidence-giving Grand Prix ready for tomorrow. There we have it for Dorothee Schneider and First Romance 2. A super test, a few mistakes in there, but overall a really nice performance. I loved the horse's frame and the soft contact throughout that test. As I said, she just doesn't throw any marks away. Beautiful preparation. She really knows how to put a test together and to present it beautifully. Some mistakes in the second PF where the horse unfortunately did a dropping, but it is a 70.043 and into the lead. 3 scores there on 69 and 2 on 70. Very consistent from our judges. And lovely halt rein back. Of course, they had mistakes in the one-time changes and in the zigzag. So 3 quite expensive mistakes in that test. They were trending around 72, so did very, very well to have those mistakes and still get over the 70% border. But a very, very talented horse. Beautiful harmony, lovely riding. Looking forward to seeing what they have to offer tomorrow in the freestyle. So Dorothee leaving the arena now, going for the steward check. And into the arena, it is Carl Hedin for Sweden. He is riding Van der Veen, a 12-year-old Westphalian gelding by Vitalis. This combination started at International Grand Prix in April 22 and have enjoyed some top 10 finishes. They scored just over 70% in Christensen's CDI 3-star for 3rd place in their first Grand Prix. Their last time out, though, was in March last year, where they competed at the Herning 3-star and finished 14th in the Grand Prix with 63.2 and 11th in the freestyle with 66.3. They also competed here last year, finishing 10th in the Grand Prix with 64%. Carl is amazing at producing young horses and finished 4th at the 2023 World Breeding Championships in the 5-year-old class with Skyline to be. He has a very large social media following and is a real favourite here in Sweden and around the world. So the bell has gone. And we welcome into the arena now for Sweden, Carl Hedin and Van der Veen. Very expressive horse with plenty of cadence. Ooh, little break in the rhythm there. You said about the last combination, maybe not taking enough risk, and I think maybe that was a little bit too much risk taken. Such a big moving horse. Just needs to make sure that they keep that softness. Sometimes less is more, right? But lovely reach in those half passes. This horse is built so naturally uphill. Ooh. Yeah, you can see that he was going to overshoot the C marker there. Just needed to ask a little bit more of the half halt. And the mouth opening in the rein back. He was just a little bit reluctant in those rein back steps. To watch the rhythm in the passage. Again, this horse has lovely cadence and lovely lift in front. Just needed to watch the rhythm behind, but good in the piaffe. Nice fluent transitions. correct here in the walk rhythm. Horse, I just feels not quite letting go over the back today. You can see that he's just holding himself in the frame and in the contact there in the extension, even though Carl is offering the rein beautifully there to allow him to stretch. Horse just not quite taking it and relaxing over the back. Yeah, well recovered there from Carl. Just lost the rhythm at the beginning of the piaffe there, but really managed to get that back and show a good, clear transition back up into the passage. Again, just needs to watch the rhythm and the steps behind in the passage. Nice changes there. Lovely ground cover. Clearly showing the extension there. Super ground cover through the extension and a great transition back. Lost a little bit of the straightness at the end of that diagonal line. Again there, sometimes quarters leading, yeah, better this time. Let's watch this way, yeah, so when he changes to the left, the quarters just lead for a couple of steps. Just really needs to think about the balance. Again, big changes there in the one times. Yeah, clean changes. Just could have been a little softer over the back for the bigger marks. Lovely preparation in the canter pirouette. Super half halt, keeping the jump in the canter. It was pretty nicely centered through the canter pirouette there. Again, lovely preparation. Could just do with a little more bend through those canter pirouettes, but otherwise nice. He keeps the jump nicely in the canter, keeps the activity coming round, and that's because he prepares so well for those. This horse has a lot of energy in the trot. As I said earlier, so naturally uphill. He needs to watch the regularity behind again there in the passage. Last year they were 10th in this Grand Prix class with 64%. They're definitely going to be higher this year, and they finish with a square halt. It is Carl Hedin and Van der Veen for Sweden. Lots of nods of approval from our crowd. A really talented horse. This horse has so much lovely energy. Just sometimes needs to watch the rhythm in the passage, and at times they had their mouth open. Sorry, not Carl. The horse had his mouth open at times and could have just been a little more over the back and truly through into a softer contact. But a really attractive horse, as I say, one with lots of talent, lots of uphill tendency, which is great. So much expression. Just at times lost a bit of the fluency. But you can see that he has a real natural talent for the piaffe. Some really nice work in the canter as well. Super in the canter pirouettes. And a big smile to finish for Carl. The score is in at 67.13% and into second place. Scores ranging from 65 up to 68%. And our next combination are heading into the arena. It is Jessica Leijser and Kashmir for the Netherlands. This is a 10-year-old KWPN gelding by Glamourdale. This is this combination's third ever international Grand Prix together after they made the jump from Small Tour in May last year. They started in Aachen for the CDI 3-star, finishing 20th in the Grand Prix with 64.8%. Then in October, they headed to the Wroclaw for the CDI 3-star, finishing 7th in the Grand Prix with 63.8 and second in the special with 65. They are yet to compete in a freestyle. She has bred this horse and trained him all by herself. So Jessica Leijser and Kashmir now for the Netherlands. You just see there a little bit of imbalance where the horse changed before he came into the halt. Again, another impressive horse, plenty of expression, tracking up nicely there in the extended trot. A nice crossing. Showing clear bend, just could be a little more fluent through those half passes. But nice positioning. A little bit early there into the halt, but a lovely square halt. Just a bit of resistance there in the rein back. Nice air time in the passage. And a little early into the piaffe. Yeah, some nice steps in the piaffe. Scoring 6.5s and 7s. For the 7.5s and 8s, you'd want to see a little bit more lift and activity. But clear rhythm throughout. The horse looking nice and relaxed through this walk. Could just take that stretch more down. Showing a clear rhythm again, tracking up nicely in the extended walk. Yeah, just needs to watch the rhythm here. You could see it slightly as she picked up from the extended walk, but not always clear in the rhythm there through the collected walk. Really nice lift and air time through the passage. Keep the lift, keep it coming. And now into these 2-time changes. Really nice and fluent there. Big ground covering changes. Nicely ridden by Jessica. 7s and 7.5s from our judges. So now keep the balance through this canter zigzag. Yeah, nicely done. Just lost a bit of the straightness there towards the end. They did have a little mistake in the counting as well, which has pulled them down. 5s and 4s. And into the canter pirouettes now. Could just be a little bit more over the back coming into, yeah. Just wasn't quite through coming into the canter pirouette and then lost the balance and the jump. Their personal best, 64.869. Currently trending just below that at the moment. This is only their 3rd ever international together. So still very much about picking up the experience and learning exactly what each other are like inside the whiteboards. A lovely square halt to finish and a big sigh of relief for Jessica Leijser and Kashmir for the Netherlands. Some really nice work, a very, very nice horse indeed. Certainly got lots of highlights. Just today, a couple of times could have been a little softer over the back, especially we could see in those canter pirouettes. But good trot extensions, scored nicely through those. Nice in the 2 lines of tempi changes as well. And super in the passage. Just needs to keep that lift and activity in the piaffe and work on those transitions back into the passage. You can see there, just not quite as fluent as they are on the way in. But these were a real highlight, some lovely lines of tempi changes. A horse with lots of expression, lots to like indeed. Needs to be careful of the rhythm at times. But the score is in. It is a 64.261 and into 4th for Jessica. next combination coming into the arena now. It is Antonio Vale for Portugal and fine fellow H, 14-year-old Oldenburg gelding by First Fugger. Another combination from the Paris Olympics last year. They got called up from first reserve to compete and they finished 47th in the Grand Prix with 66.9%. That, in fact, was their last time out together. Heading into Paris, they had some consistent results, finishing 14th in Kronenberg CDI 4-star in June with 68.3 and 24th in the Hagen 3-star with 67.4 in the Grand Prix. Their last 3-star was back in June 2023 at the Brno World Cup, where they scored their PB of 73.28. So Antonio Vale and fine fellow H now for Portugal. Some nice steps through the trot extension. You could clearly see that they were extending the stride length and the frame. Could just have had a little bit more push for the higher marks. Nice positioning there in the half pass. Clear bend both ways. Nice crossing. And a lovely halt there. Oh, that's a pity. It's a little break there into canter at the end of the trot extension. Quite expensive. Yeah, 4s from all 5 judges for the break. You can see the groom there in the background riding every single step with Antonio. Some nice transitions. Could just have had a little more activity in the Piaffe. Lovely there in the walk, taking a nice stretch. You can really see the horse wanting to take the contact. Tracking up in the walk and a really good clear rhythm. Lovely there through the passage. Now keep the lift and the activity. Ah, that was a pity. Needed lots more activity there through the Piaffe. I think maybe just asked for it a little bit too much on the spot.
Until I saw that face of yours glowing like the day.
So a little mistake at the beginning of the line of 2 time changes. They're not the biggest changes that we've seen today, but the ones that they did show as the line went on were correct. In fact, 2 judges not actually picking up on the mistake in the 2 times. 3 giving a 4 and then a 6.5 and 7. And that's why we need these 5 judges sitting around the arena. They all see such different angles. Yeah, a couple of changes together behind there in the 1 times. Interesting, again, a real variation of marks from our judges in the 1 times. It really does depend on where they're sitting as to what they're seeing. A 4, a 5, a 7, a 6, 5 and a 6. Yeah, nice through the canter pirouettes. Not too much. Yeah. Nicely ridden there from Antonio, because he knows that he had a break in the second extension and the horse really went for it at the beginning of that extension, and you could see Antonio just say, stay with me, not too much. Yes, nice. You can see he allowed the horse to travel there in the Piaffe after the hiccups in the second Piaffe, and that was a lot better, although of course they probably will get remarks of travelling. It's better that than the horse stopping up. So there we have Antonio Vale from Portugal and fine fellow H. Lots of sighs of relief as these riders are finishing these tests. A nice combination. They said their greatest achievement was competing at the Paris Olympics last year. Got called up from first reserve spot. Some nice moments in the test today. Just a few too many mistakes for those bigger marks, mistakes in both lines of 1 time changes and in the middle of the test in the second Piaffe, but highlights definitely in these canter pirouettes, scoring some 7s and good work through the passage today. It is a 63.196 and into 5th for Antonio Vale and fine fellow H for Portugal. One more combination to go before we head into our first break. It is Mads Hendeliowitz and Autograph Q. This combination have been together since the very beginning and competed together at the World Breeding Championships back in 2017 in the 17-year-old class. They then went through Small Tour and up to Grand Prix in December 2022. This is their first World Cup qualifier this season, but did compete here last year, finishing 11th in the Grand Prix. Since then, they've gone on to compete at multiple 3 stars. They had good results in Japa in March, finishing second in the Grand Prix with 67.2 and won the freestyle with their PB of 74.7. Their last time out was at the Helsinki 3-star, where they finished 5th in the Grand Prix with 64.6 and second in the freestyle. Mads rode at the Rio Olympic Games after being called up from reserve, and he finished 29th individually. So for Sweden now, Mads Hendeliowitz and Autograph Q. Just leaving that left hind leg out there in the halts, but a good immobility. Looked pretty accurate from here as well on X. Just a little break in the rhythm in the middle of the extended trot. Very elastic horse. Some nice crossing there in the half pass. Could just be a little more supple to the bend there, especially in the half pass to the left. Yes, nice and accurate. Yeah, better there, kept the rhythm there through the second extended trot. Yeah, nice steps in the Piaf. Was slightly small. When I say small in the base or narrow in the base, it's when the forelegs come slightly behind the perpendicular line and the hind legs are really underneath. So actually the forelimb and the hind limb are very, very close together. Good relaxation there in the walk. Clearly tracking up. Would like to see that relaxation carried through here to the collected walk. Just a bit of resistance there in the Piaf. Mads lost his reins. Good in the 2-time changes. Could have been a little straighter, but very clear changes through that line. And a nice risk there in the extended trot. Just a few times though, the mouth was open. Nice and symmetrical through the canter zigzag. Just have been a little more supple to the bend with a bit more balance. Yeah, good here in the ones. Keeping that activity. Yeah, nice bend in preparation for the canter pirouette. Yes, better this time. Yes, better there in the pirouette to the right. So finishing now down their final centre line. Final piaffe. Better there in the contact. Keeping the pole up at the highest point. Much better there in the frame. So finishing their test now for Sweden, it is Mads Hendeliowitz and autograph Q. They were here last year, finished 11th in the Grand Prix. Didn't quite make it through to the freestyle last year, so let's see if they can make it through this year. Some nice moments in the test, very consistent. Just at times today could have been more supple over the back, and I think that generally would have helped them throughout. Of course, a little shame about the middle piaffe with the resistance there. That did cost them a few marks. Some nice work in the tempi changes and the second pirouette, very nice indeed. There you can see the horse just pulling the rein out of Mads' hand. This was the lovely second canter pirouette there. The pirouette to the right. The horse has great energy and maintained that throughout for a 65.63% and into fourth for Mads Hendeliowitz and autograph Q for Sweden. So that's the end of part one for this Grand Prix. It is coming in 3 parts. So we will be taking a 16-minute break now, but here are the current standings so far. Dorothee Schneider out in the lead with first Romance 2 for Germany with 70.043. Carl Hedin in second for Sweden, 67.13. And Katharina Lund for Norway, currently in third place with 65.652. Join us back at 11 minutes past 12 local time, or 11 minutes past 11 if you're watching from the UK, for the second part of this FEI World Cup qualifier here in Gothenburg, leg 10. Welcome back to part 2 of this Western European League FEI World Cup, brought to you by Agria. At the moment, Dorothee Schneider out in front, but still lots to look forward to in this class. Up next, we have a combination from Belgium. It is Alexa Fairchild and Mala Scales-Hermes, a 13-year-old Lusitano stallion. A fairly new partnership at International Grand Prix. They had great results in Le Mans in May, with a 68.5 in the Grand Prix and a 72.6 in the freestyle. Last time out was at the Le Mans CDI 3-star earlier this month, where they finished 4th with 67.6 and 3rd in the freestyle with 71.1. Alexa came up through the youth classes and has competed in many European championships, picking up a team bronze in 2013. She had her first call up to the senior team in 2021 for the Hagen Europeans, where she finished individual 62nd place with just over 65%. So in for Belgium now, it is Alexa Fairchild and Mala Scales-Hermes. Really nice move off into the trot. Halt not 100% square to begin with, but a lovely immobility. Nice there in the bend in the half pass. Keeping that pole up. Good reach. Got to be careful that they don't have a head tilt this way. Nice and accurate on the C marker. Could have just been a little more closed and square in the halt. Tracking up well in the extension. Just needs to make sure those extensions aren't a little hurried. She certainly takes risk. Here in the walk. Really nice activity. Really keeping the activity through the extended walk and the collected walk. Clear in the rhythm. Could just have done with a little more activity there in the piaffe. The transition into the piaffe is really fluent. Could just be a little more fluent in the transition back up into the passage, a little bit more direct. Nice big ground covering changes. Looking pretty straight from this angle. Using the diagonal line. Yeah, 7s across our board. The combination best 68.587. Keeping the uphill tendency through this canter zigzag. Nice and symmetrical from left to right. Yeah, well ridden there from Alexa. You could see that the horse was just bearing down a little bit and lowering the pole in the beginning of those one-time changes, and she improved on the balance as they went on. Yeah, lovely preparation in those canter pirouettes. A little large on that second one. Could just get those a little more centered for the bigger marks, but really nice preparation. She could really take that half halt. Yes, better there. Not quite so hurried in the extended trot as the first two. Something that these Lusitanos do struggle with a little more. They find this collective work much easier, much more natural. This horse has such a talent for it, that's for sure. Again, a little bit travelling there in the Piaffe, but I think a well calculated decision from Alexa to allow the horse forward in the Piaffe. Just needs to watch the rhythm in front sometimes in the Piaffe steps. But a super finish for Alexa Fairchild and Malascalas Hermes. A really lovely combination. You can see that they work so well together. An established pair, despite being fairly new to the Grand Prix level. Some really nice consistent work through the test. Really nice fluency. Highlights definitely in the passage today, and nice through the half passes. Just needed to watch the rhythm a little in the Piaffe. And just a little mistake at the end, the last change in the zigzag. But good in the tempi changes. Nice big changes there. You can see beautifully uphill through the test. A really willing horse. And it is a 66.957%, and that puts them into third at the moment for Alexa Fairchild and Malascalas Hermes for Belgium. We stay with Belgium now for Jorinde Verwimp and Charmer, a 13-year-old Oldenburg gelding. This is Georgine and Chalmers' third World Cup qualifier so far this season, having competed in Mechelen and Amsterdam. They finished 14th in the Grand Prix in Mechelen with 67.6 and 12th in the freestyle. Then in Amsterdam finished 16th in the Grand Prix with 68.1. It is Jorinde Verwimp now for Belgium and Charmer. Jorinde came up through the youth classes and competed at the 2014 Young Rider Europeans, winning an individual bronze, even though she'd actually just broken her toe from her horse that trod on her toe on the first day of competition. She also took Tiamo to the Senior Europeans in 2015 and 2017, as well as competing at the Rio Olympics, finishing in the top 35. A little bit strong in the contact at times at the beginning of this test, in the extension and there in the halt rein back. Better extension this time. And a lovely transition up into the passage. Keep that coming. Yeah, you can see the balance just went a little onto the shoulder in that transition, but really well recovered. Much better fluency on the way out. I'd like to see a bit more relaxation here in the extended walk. See the horse want to take the contact and take that stretch down and out. Managed to keep the activity in the piaffe there. Could just take a little bit more weight behind. You can see lots of spectators on their phones, and that's because they are taking part in the spectator judging, and you can too from home. Just download the app and see how close you are to our expert panel of judges. Or one change together behind there. Yeah, much better. And again, some judges picking up on it, some not so much. Nice and symmetrical left to right in the half pass down the centre line. I'd just like to see it a little more fluent. You can see at times the horse just looks like he's slightly leaning on the bit, and therefore would like to see a little more self-carriage at times. But he does stay in a good frame, mostly with the whole pole at the highest point. Yeah, managed to keep the jump going through the canter pirouette. Yeah, well ridden there. could just see in the first step of the pirouette they lost a bit of balance, and Jorinde really taking a good half halt and correcting that. Again, there I'd like to see more self-carriage, the horse really leaning on the bit there through the extension and opening his mouth. Yeah, much more on the spot there in the Pia. They're finishing their test now for Belgium. Jorinde Verwimp and Charmer. Such an established partnership. A very talented horse indeed. Would have liked to have seen a bit more relaxation today in the walk. That did lose them a fair few marks, and both the extended walk and the collective walk, both double coefficients. But other than that, a really consistent test, very well presented, nice and accurately ridden. Just like to see a little bit more self-carriage at times. You could see sometimes he was just leaning on the bit and opening his mouth. But some really nice work through this test. He kept the activity the whole way through. And it is a 68.413, and into second for Jorinde Verwimp and Charmer for Belgium. We move on now to a combination for Spain. It is Borja Carrascosa and Sir Hubert NRW, a 12-year-old Westphalian gelding by Sir Heinrich. A pair we enjoyed seeing at the finals in Riyadh earlier last year. They finished 8th in the Grand Prix with 70.06 and 10th in the freestyle. Since then, they've competed in the Central European League's Lerma, where they had a double win with 72.2 and a new personal best in the freestyle with 78.1. They then headed to the London International Horse Show, where they finished 9th in the Grand Prix and 8th in the freestyle. Last time out there was in Basel, where they were 7th in the Grand Prix with 70.8 and 6th in the freestyle with 78.5. Borja competed in Paris with his other ride, Flitzatino FRH, finishing 28th. They also competed that horse in Stuttgart, Mechlin and Amsterdam, picking up some valuable points for the standings. So riding now for Spain, Borja Carrascosa and Sir Hubert NRW. Up well in the extension. This horse has such a lovely lightness. Just be a little more parallel there in the half pass. Yeah, better this way. Nice halt. Really lovely to see the accuracy there in the halt. Perfectly at sea. Pretty square as well. Just unfortunately dropped the pole in the steps in the rein back. coming from behind. Yeah, nice, fluent transitions. Would have liked to have seen just a little bit more activity in the Piaf. 7s and a 7.5 for the Piaf, and pretty much 7s for the transitions as well. Good relaxation there in the walk. Clearly over tracking. And the activity through the walk. Really accurately ridden by Borja. This pair's such an established team now. Yeah, better activity this time. You can see that that is something that they have worked on a lot, having followed them through the last few seasons of these World Cups. Piaf has certainly improved over the last couple of years. That's the thing, isn't it? All of these horses and riders are on their own individual journey, looking to be better than they were the last time in the whiteboards. Of course, a win is nice to have, but I think as a rider myself, I always prefer coming out of the arena knowing that I've given it everything and that me and my horse have performed in harmony, and that we've given it the best that we can. The results then take care of themselves. Just needs to watch the balance here in these canter zigzags. You can see him losing the quarters a little bit in some of the changes. So preparing now for the canter pirouette. Lovely half halt coming in. Just needs to be sure that they keep the jump there in the canter. Yeah. Better control that time. Could just have been a little more uphill for the 8s, but consistently scoring 7s and a few 7.5s. A combination best score 72.217. Slowly creeping up towards that now, with still the final centre line left to come. Coming. Just needs to watch there the hind legs, but a super halt to finish for Borja Carrascosa and Sir Hubert NRW. Such an established pair, as I said. Nice to see how much this pair have improved over the last few years. just had a little bit of a loss of rhythm. You can see especially that right hind leg just slightly snatching on that final centre line, but super consistent through this test. Really nice through the tempi changes. Some lovely work in the trot half passes. You can see that they're a great team together. Just a few times today in the canter, the horse got a little bit deep in front. I'd like to keep that uphill tendency throughout. But a well-ridden test from Borja. Mistake-free test with this lovely, talented horse. I think they've done enough to go in the lead. They have 71.022 for Borja Carrascosa, our new leader, and Sir Hubert NRW for Spain. Moving on now to our first combination from Denmark. There's Kenneth Damgaard and Uno de Sun, a 12-year-old Danish warm blood mare by Uno Don Diego, out of a blue horse Rossoff mare. A combination that came up through International Small Tour together and broke through to Grand Prix in March 2023. Their scores have been increasing each time out. Last time out was at the Central European League's Wroclaw, the World Cup qualifier there in October, where they finished 6th in the Grand Prix with 67% and 5th in the freestyle with their personal best of 74.075. Last summer, they hit their PB in the Grand Prix in Falsterbro CDI 4-Star Nations Cup with a 5th place with 69.7. Getting underway now for Denmark, Kenneth Damgaard and Uno de Sun. Just stepped back into that first halt. Nice move off, lovely light-footed mare. Nicely there, staying open in the frame. Just losing a bit of fluency through the half pass. Like to just see a little more suppleness to the bend. Just have slightly better balance through those half passes, but nicely into the halt and some good steps in the rein back. Just lowered the pole slightly there, but good diagonal pairs. Keep it coming. Yeah, quite a lot of travelling there in the Piaf. It was just a little bit too forward. Good relaxation here in the walk. picking up. Again, the contact could just be a little more consistent in the stretch. A little bit of tension there up into the passage, but well handled by Kenneth. Again, lots of travelling there through the Piaf. Nice line of two-time changes, staying nice and uphill. Good fluency. And clear transitions in the extension. For the bigger marks, I'd like to see a little bit more of an uphill tendency through that extended canter. Looked nice and symmetrical left to right. Could just have a little more bend through that and a bit more relaxation. But 6s and 6.5s. But unfortunately they're a mistake in the one-time changes. Again, the same as in the half pass. I'd like to see more bend, but it was well centered. Again, losing a bit of the throughness in the pirouette to the right. This mare, though, really listening to Kenneth. You can see her ears pricked the whole way through the test. Really appears that she's giving her absolute best. Although they've been at Grand Prix for a couple of years now, they haven't had a ton of experience at this level, and especially in this kind of environment. Kenneth doing a good job through the Piaf. Riding what he's got today. And there we have it for Kenneth Damgaard and Uno Day Sun for Denmark. Such a lovely, elegant, light-footed mare. Just today, just a few moments of tension holding them back for the big marks, but a super talented mare. And you could see their progression through this test. Look at the lovely reach she has in those half passes. There's quite a lot of travelling through the Piaf today, but I'm pretty sure that was a fairly conscious decision from Kenneth to gain confidence through this test. Some great reactions there from the kiss and cry. And then, of course, they had a little mistake in the one-time changes. So 4s and 4.5, but some lovely work. Really nice in the extended trot at the end. 64.63% for Kenneth Damgaard and Uno Day Sun for Denmark. putting them into 8th place at the moment. One more combination to go before we go into our second break. And here you can see our next rider coming up the ramp and into this fabulous arena. It is Domien Michiels for Belgium and Intermezzo van het Middelhof, a 17-year-old Belgian warm blood gelding by Globaldi, a very established partnership. They competed together at the Tokyo Olympics, the Hagen Europeans, the Herning World Championships, the Rosenbeck Europeans, and most recently the Paris Olympics. Paris, they finished 22nd in the Grand Prix with 72.5, their Grand Prix personal best. They then went on to finish 17th in the special with 72.3. Since then, they went on to compete on home soil at the Mechlin qualifier, finishing 7th in the Grand Prix with 71.3 and 6th in the freestyle with 77.3. Their last time out was in Amsterdam just last month, where they finished 12th in both the Grand Prix and the freestyle with 70.7 and 77.8 respectively. Into the arena now for Belgium, Domien Michiels and Intermezzo van het Middelhof. They had a lovely clean performance in Amsterdam. See what they can do today. Some nice steps in the extended trot. Could just have a little bit more from behind for the 8s. I felt in Amsterdam that he was riding slightly with the handbrake on, but it looks like the horse has got a bit more energy today, a bit more push, which is nice to see. Good halt, nice and accurate on the marker. Some good steps in the rein back. Just could have had a little bit more height in the pole. Nicely on the spot there in the Piaf. And fairly good transitions as well. Plenty of 7s and 7.5s. Great relaxation. Taking a good stretch. Tracking up. Could just have a bit more over track for the bigger marks, but really lovely walking over the back there in the extended walk. Yeah, really nice through the Piaf. Scoring an 8 from the judge at C. Really nicely on the spot. Just needs to watch the balance on the way out. So they just do one big step, which just affects the fluency slightly. It's a little bit of tension in the transition up to canter, but really well recovered. Nice here in the 2 times. Looking pretty straight from this angle. Nice ground cover. Maintaining that lovely jump in the canter. Really nice balance there through the canter zigzag. Nice and symmetrical, well ridden, very accurate, lovely balance through that line. Yeah, a couple of 8s and 7.5s. And this is where you can see their partnership really coming through. Lovely harmony. Nice and uphill through the canter pirouette. Beautiful balance. See the scores really climbing up now. Beautifully well centered. 8s across the board there for the canter pirouette to the right. Really super balance on that whole center line there. Personal best 72.531. Again, nicely on the spot. And there we have it for Domien Michiels and Intermezzo van Het Middelhof for Belgium. Just a little loss of balance out of the Piaf there, but a super job, especially in the canter work today. That was beautifully ridden, lovely balance, especially that line on the center line with the 2 canter pirouettes. Really lovely through the changes. You could see the harmony between the 2. They know each other so well. 2 Olympics, 2 Europeans, and a World Championships that they've competed in together. A super halt there before the rein back as well. A really nice, consistent, fluent test from this pair. Just lost a few marks in some of the transitions out of Piaf today. A really well presented test. A really, really nice test to watch. Sometimes could just have a little bit more push from the hind leg at times. Look at the balance through the canter, half passes. Kept a nice uphill tendency through the test. Beautifully accurate. And they go into second place, 70.869%. Scores ranging from 67.8 up to 72.9. So we head into another short break now. We will be back at 13 minutes past 1 local time. If you're watching from the UK, that is 13 minutes past 12. Now, here are the current standings. Borja Carrascosa and Sir Hubert NRW for Spain out in the lead with 71.022%. Domien Michiels there in second for Belgium, who we've just seen, on 70.869. And Dorothee Schneider in third with First Romance 2 for Germany, 70.043. They are the scores to beat. 11 combinations have been 17 combinations in total coming forward for this Grand Prix. So join us back in a few moments' time for the final few riders to come in this World Cup Grand Prix. Hello and welcome back to the third and final part of this Western European League World Cup dressage here in Gothenburg. We have a great lineup of riders still to come in this third and final part, but welcoming us now is Camille Judet for France and Hilary Higgins, 13-year-old KWPN gelding by Johnson. This is this combination's fourth World Cup qualifier this season. Had brilliant results in Mechlin just after Christmas, where they finished 9th in the Grand Prix with 70% and 8th in the freestyle with 76.2, just off their personal best. They then headed to Amsterdam, finishing 17th in the Grand Prix. That didn't unfortunately allow them to qualify through to the freestyle. Then last weekend they were in Neumünster, where they finished 10th in the Grand Prix with 69.5 and jumped up to 8th in the freestyle with 76.9. At the end of last year, they had a double win in Leeuwarden CDI 3-star in October with 70.4 in the Grand Prix and their PB of 76.3 in the freestyle. 2024 saw them with some great podium finishes. So let's see what 2025 has to offer. She's here with her husband, who is next into the arena. So Camille Judet and Hilary Higgins now for France. Bit of resistance there in the halt. Camille. Up well there in the extension. Yeah, nice reach and crossing. Maybe just be a little more fluent there. Yeah, better towards the end. Definitely not keen on standing still today. Needs to be sure that they keep that pole up and the nose on the vertical line. Sometimes just creeps a little bit back and gets a bit fidgety in the mouth. Christoph Hess was very complimentary last weekend of this combination's Piaffe Passage. Today, a couple of uneven steps in the Piaffe, but some nice fluent transitions. Could just take a little more of the stretch there in the extended walk. Really want to see the rider offering the hand forward, which Camille did beautifully, and the horse following that down and really taking the contact. Nice though through the collective walk, and of course both the extended walk and the collective walk, both double coefficients. Wonderful lift in the passage and a really fluent transition into the Piaffe. Yeah, nicely done. Again, just a few times there, the mouth opening, so that will lose her a few marks through that sequence of movements. but the piaffe and passage itself and the transition, very nice indeed. Fluent line of changes through the twos, using that whole diagonal line, keeping the straightness. It's great to have seen this horse grow in confidence over the last few competitions. They had quite a lot of tension in Amsterdam, and Amsterdam is a huge atmosphere, but it got better last weekend in Neumünster, and I would say definitely better again here today. The horse does look more relaxed in the work. Of course, not shown through the halts today, unfortunately, but generally I would say that the contact is slightly better than the last few weeks, which is great to see an improvement. Just a little mistake there in the one-time changes. Again, two judges not seeing that. 3 4s and 2 7s. It really does depend on where they're sitting. Keeping the jump through the canter pirouette. Yeah, nicely centered. Could just do with a little bit more bend through those canter pirouettes for another half a mark. Super lift. This horse is so lovely and light-footed through the piaffe passage work. Again, would just like to see a slightly stiller contact, but really lovely lift. You can see this horse has such a great ability to sit. And there we have it for Camille, Judet, Chéret and Hilaire Higgins for France. They've consistently been around 69, 70%, and I think today is going to be around the same again. Unfortunately lost a lot of marks with the lack of immobility in both halts at the beginning of the test and before the rein back as well. And some problems again with the contact, but some really great work. Highlights for sure in the piaffe passage. Such an elegant horse, so light-footed. A really fluent test. Some nice work through the tempi changes as well, but as I say, the piaffe passage really smart, but losing marks because of the open mouth. Kept the jump through the canter work today. And as I say, just great to see the improvement over the last 3 World Cup qualifiers that they've competed in. 69.391% and into 4th place. Very consistent marks from our judges, ranging from 68.1 up to 70.3. Camille's husband coming into the arena next. They competed together in Neumünster last weekend and are here in Gothenburg together as well. here are the current standings. Borja Carrascosa still out in the lead, Domien Michiels in second, and Dorothee Schneider currently sitting in third. You can see Camille there just slotted into fourth place. 5 riders left to go, and they are the top ranked combinations in this class. Corentin Pottier for France and Göteborg Dufour, 14-year-old KWPN gelding by Totalas, a long-standing combination. They competed at last year's Paris Olympic Games, where they finished 29th in the Grand Prix with 70.6 and 17th in the special with 71.7. Since then, they competed in the Kronenberg CDI 3-star, finishing 5th on both days with just over 70% in the Grand Prix and special. This is their 3rd World Cup qualifier. They competed in Mechlin, where they were 6th in the Grand Prix with 71.4 and 4th in the freestyle. They then had their best results last week in Neumünster, finishing 5th in the Grand Prix with 72.8 and gained their new personal best in the freestyle of 80.29. This pair also competed together at the 2022 World Championships, 43rd place in the Grand Prix, and at the 2018 Young Horse World Championships. Corentin Pottier and Göteborg Dufour now for France. An impressive start to the test. Good centre line, some nice steps in the extended trot. You can see the Camille there on the kiss and cry, quickly jumping off her horse and coming to support her husband. Lovely cadence here in the trot half pass. Just be a little more supple to the bend. Getting that left hind leg out, but other than that, a really accurate halt and clear diagonal steps back in the rein back. Nice and uphill through those trot extensions. Corentin would have come here with a lot of confidence from his last outing with this horse, scoring over 80% their personal best in the freestyle. Got so many wonderful comments from Christoph Hess. Again, about the Piaf Passage. Great relaxation in the walk. You can see the horse taking that stretch down, apart from that little look up in the audience. Really nice lift, great rhythm in the passage, and a super fluent transition. A little bit of travelling there, some resistance in the contact as well, which we haven't seen from this combination. again, keeping that lovely uphill tendency on that line of 2-time changes. Lovely ground cover. Nice balance here at the beginning of this zigzag. Lovely and symmetrical in the half passes. Yeah, very well ridden. Ah, that was such a pity. Really super canter pirouettes, beautiful flying change at X. Really nice balance through this line. You're being picky, could have had a bit more jump at the end there of that canter pirouette to the right. But 7.5s across the board, looking really, really confident and established through this test. Unfortunately, that mistake in those one-time changes has pulled them down a little bit because they were so close to a personal best for this test. Other than that, it's been a beautiful mistake-free test. Really growing on their performance in Neumünster last week. Showing a little bit of tension in the transition back up to passage there. And a square halt to finish for Corentin Pottier and Dorothee Schneider. Camille there, his wife, supporting from the kiss and cry. A great team, these two. Well, the horse and rider and the husband and wife combination. A really, really super horse. Some great work today. Loved the canter. The whole test, he just stayed in a really lovely frame. He was uphill throughout. Really nice and fluent. Such a pity about that mistake in the one-time changes. Everything looked really fluent. A really, really super horse that just keeps getting better. Just had a bit of resistance in that middle piaffe today, which is quite unusual for this pair. But a lovely way of riding from Corentin today. Very, very harmonious between the two of them, picking up some good scores for the general impression. It is a 72%, and they go into the lead. Corentin Pottier and Dorothee Schneider for France, our new leaders. Scores ranging from 73.1 down to 70.435. We move on now to our final combination for Germany. It is Bianca Nowag-Aulenbrock and Florine OLD. A 13-year-old Oldenburg mare by Foundation 2. This is this combination's 4th World Cup qualifier this season. They started in leg 1 in Herning, where they finished 6th in the Grand Prix and 4th in the freestyle. They then headed to Stuttgart, finishing 3rd on both days with 73.2 in the Grand Prix and 79.2 in the freestyle. Mechlin was their last time out at the end of last year, where they finished 10th in the Grand Prix and 9th in the freestyle. They also competed as part of the Central European League in August, where they won the Grand Prix and freestyle. Bianca came up through youth classes and has competed at 6 Europeans, picking up 5 team golds, 1 team silver and 1 of each medal colour individually. Bianca Nowag-Aulenbrock now and Florine OLD. Such a beautiful mare. So eye-catching. Nice through the extension, tracking up well. Extending that frame as well as the stride. This mare has such a lovely outlook. Really lovely self-carriage through the half passes. Could just have shown a little more bend to the left if we're being picky, and a beautiful halt there at sea. Good in the rein back as well, really nice and fluent. Our first 9 of the day. Just needs to be sure that those extensions aren't a little hurried. Nice airtime in the passage. Little abrupt there into the piaffe. Yeah, could just show a little more fluency in the transitions and a bit more lift through the piaffe for the bigger marks. But still consistently 7s, a couple of 7.5s in there as well. Clearly tracking up in a good rhythm. Could show just a little more stretch and ground cover for the 7s and 8s. She has such a great energy, this mare. And that frame just stays so super consistent. Again, would just like to see a bit more fluency in those transitions. You can see that coming out of the piaffe, she just takes one bigger step. You'd like to see a bit more balance there to be able to contain that and move more fluently into the passage. Lovely and uphill through these 2-time changes. Loads of ground cover. A little bit of swaying, could be straighter. And clear transitions for the extension. Pretty nice through the canter zigzag. Nice and symmetrical. And a nice clean line of 1-time changes. Such an established combination. Started a little big and got more centered as it went on. Oh, just lost a bit of straightness there in the change. Again there, starts a bit big again in the canter pirouette. Much better in the second half. So currently trending on 72.2, which would be enough to put them into the lead. Combination from Germany, Bianca Nowag-Aulenbrock and Florine OLD. A lovely, lovely combination to watch. Such a lovely mare. She just stays in such a beautiful frame and a lovely soft contact the whole way through. General impression marks 8 across the board from our 5 judges. A really, really lovely combination to watch. Just would have liked to have seen a bit more balance today in the transition from Piaffe to Passage, but super accurately ridden, really nice self-carriage. Lovely through the trot and canter half passes. Just really fluent throughout the whole test. A really great team, these two. Pirouettes could have been a little tighter to start. They started a little bit big, but she kept the rhythm throughout the entire test, kept the jump in the canter. And it is a 72.543% test. Her supporters seem happy with that. And she goes into the lead. Now, Bianca Nowag-Aulenbrock and Florine OLD into the lead with 72.543. Now we move on to our Danish duo. Up first is Nanna Skodborg Merrald and Blue Horse Snickers, a 12-year-old Oldenburg stallion by Blue Horse Zach. Nanna is here hot off her win last weekend with Blue Horse Zepter in Neumünster. This, however, is her first World Cup qualifier with this horse. They made their International Grand Prix debut in March last year and have had great results recently, with a win in Hagen last June in the freestyle with a personal best of 79.9. Last time out, though, was in Herning CDI 3-star, finishing second in the Grand Prix with 72.2 and winning the special with just under 75%. Nanna competed a Blue Horse Zepter at last year's Paris Olympic Games. They finished in the top 10 each day and helped pick up Team Silver for Denmark. This is Nanna's 5th World Cup qualifier after riding Blue Horse Zepter in Herning and Neumünster. She rode Blue Horse Saint Chufro for 5th both days at London International and Blue Horse Donna Limbrio in Amsterdam for 3rd in the Grand Prix and 4th in the freestyle. Nanna Skodborg Merrald now for Denmark and Blue Horse Snickers. A very tall, elegant, light-footed horse. Just see a few times here that his mouth does open slightly. You'd like to see that a little stiller and more secure to the contact. This horse has such a lovely forward energy. Plenty of cadence and fluency through these half passes. Super crossing. Yeah, plenty of 8s coming. Again, I'd like to just see that contact a little stiller. Lovely halt. Really good in the rein back, and another 9. A little bit of a blip in the rhythm there. Yeah, just showing a bit of tension there in the piaffe. He was very open and kind of leaning back. Better here in the second half of the extended walk. Yeah, much better contact here in the collected walk. Better transition in. He just looks like he's backing off a bit and coming back in the piaffe. Nice there through the 2-time changes. Really fluent, really straight. Good ground cover. That's a pity. Just lost the balance and changed early in the extended canter. Well recovered though, because actually she still managed to get the change at K and still got good marks for that. It was only the extended canter that they called her down for. This horse is just so uphill. Looking really established through these tempi lines. Really fluent. Anna's trademark is her canter pirouettes. Yeah, nicely done. Again, maintaining that lovely uphill balance. Contact has definitely improved as the test has gone on. The horse looking much more relaxed in the second half of the test. They've only been at this level since March last year, so still really early days for this horse. But Nanna, so much experience under her belt. Needs to watch the rhythm there. Yeah, better. And there we have it for Nanna, Skodborg, Merrald, and Blue Horse Snickers for Denmark. see some members of the Blue Horse team there supporting Nanna. A very, very talented horse. And as I said just a second ago, it's nice to see that the contact improved through the test. He looked a little bit unsteady in the mouth to begin with, and that certainly did get better as the test went on. The horse very, very talented, beautifully uphill, super established through the lines of tempies and those canter pirouettes. Just at times needs to watch that he doesn't come a little short in the neck. Just a little bit of resistance in the Piaffe today. Super halt and rein back. One of the best we've seen in this class. A really, really exciting combination to watch out for this year, that's for sure. Of course, yeah, they had that little problem as well there in the extended canter. But a super job, well ridden by Nanna, 70.783%, and into 5th place for Nanna Skodborg Merrald and Blue Horse Snickers. Another combination now for Denmark. This is Cathrine Laudrup-Dufour and Mount St. John Freestyle, a 16-year-old Hanoverian mare. This combination have been phenomenal since they partnered together just over a year ago. They were unbeaten heading into the Paris Olympics, where there they finished second in the Grand Prix with over 80%. They won the special, helping Denmark pick up team silver, and the freestyle saw them finish in 5th with a humongous 88.09. They headed to leg 1 in Herning, where they won both the Grand Prix and freestyle with 81.8 and 88.9. They then went on to the CDI 5-star top 10 competition in Stockholm in December, again winning both the Grand Prix and freestyle with 81.6 and 90.7. Cathrine, of course, no stranger to the podium. She won team gold at the 2022 World Championships and individual silvers. Individual medals also at the Europeans in 2021, as well as a team bronze at the Tokyo Olympics. Cathrine Laudrup-Dufour now for Denmark and Mount St. John Freestyle. Great start. It's been wonderful to watch this combination. Just seem to score new PBs each time out. Fluency through the half passes, especially there to the left. Such a lovely picture between these two. So much harmony. The nines are flooding in. Just needs to be sure that they keep the rhythm behind in the passage. Great relaxation, and that's something that this pair just seem to get right. I've always said it's such a fine line, and I think as riders we always try and aim for that relaxed power, and that is something that this combination achieve so effortlessly. Could have taken a little more stretch there in the extended walk. Two tens, our first tens of the day for the Piaf. Trending on 83 now, which would be a combination best. This horse's Grand Prix personal best is 83.196 from Charlotte Dujardin a few years ago. Can they break that today? Super balance. Really nice suppleness in these half passes. Beautifully presented there by Cathrine. Couple of changes a little bit together behind. Beautifully ridden. And another 10 for the canter pirouette to the right from our judge at SWE. They're certainly on track for a combination best. Can they make it a personal best? Such ease, such lightness, an absolute joy to watch. A couple more 10s. As they come down now for their final halt. The crowd are cheering along with them. It is Catharine Laudrup-Dufour and Mount St. John Freestyle. I think everybody was riding that test with them. Emma Blundell on the kiss and cry. She bought this horse as a young horse. And what a horse she is. A fantastic performance from this pair. They just keep getting better. And as I said through the test, we all aim towards that harmonious test, towards that relaxed power, the ease of the movements, the lightness, and that was just performed so beautifully today. That is what dressage is all about. 9s across the board for the general impression. Actually, one judge a 9.5. A fantastic performance from this pair. Now, what is the score going to be? 83.369%. Well and truly in the lead for Cathrine Laudrup-Dufour and Mount St. John freestyle for Denmark. What a performance. Oh, I'm so excited to see their freestyle tomorrow. What a combination. Now we move on to our final rider of the day. It is for Sweden, Maria von Essen and Invoice, a 13-year-old Oldenburg gelding by Jazz. Maria and Invoice have had an incredible season, having never dropped below 70% in the Grand Prix. They had great results at the top 10 competition in Stockholm CDI 5-star, finishing 5th in both the Grand Prix and freestyle with 73.1 in the Grand Prix and their new PB in the freestyle of just over 80. This is their third World Cup qualifier this season after they competed back in leg 1 in Herning. The Grand Prix saw them in 7th and the freestyle had them on the podium with 3rd place. They then headed to Amsterdam just a few weeks ago, finishing 9th in the Grand Prix with 71.5 and 8th in the freestyle with just over 80. A combination that have made huge progress in a short space of time. Maria competed in youth championships back in 96, 97 and 2001, picking up team bronze medal. So Maria von Essen now for Sweden and Invoice. A lovely square halt to finish, just came out slightly passagey from the halt. You'd like to see a much more direct transition to the collected trot. Again, a really lovely harmonious combination. Really nice crossing. Good positioning. Better there to the left. Another good halt. Slightly early. Oh, just dropping the pole there. Just a little bit of tension creeping in at times today. Maria, a really calm and effective rider. Nicely on the spot there in the piaffe. Keep it coming. Really super transitions, really nice and fluent. Was not quite relaxed there in the extended walk. You can see that he's just wanting to have a little look at his audience. Yeah, really super through the piaffe. Kept the lift and the activity. 2 8s, a 9 and 2 8.5s. Really lovely transitions as well. Real highlight for this combination. Their personal best in this Grand Prix test is 74.131. So just a tiny bit under that right now. Still the whole canter tour to come. Lovely and fluent through these 2-time changes, beautifully straight. Showed a difference there in the extended canter. Feel like she could have taken a little more risk through that line. One counting mistake there. She did 7 strides in the penultimate half pass. So that's really pulled her down, and that is a double coefficient movement as well. So that's going to be very expensive. Good there though in the one-time changes. Those tempi changes really established. Her canter pirouette's normally a highlight as well. Keep the jump. Yeah, I would have liked to have just seen a little more jump. But really well centered. Nice balance. Yeah, keep the canter. Yeah. Tell you what, it's going to be very, very close as to who is going to join Cathrine on the podium today. Cathrine, a clear winner in this Grand Prix. But I honestly don't know who's going to finish in second and third. Where is Maria going to slot into? What can she do down this final centre line? These are her highlights, the piaffe passage and the transitions. So she should look to pick up a few nice marks on this final centre line as she comes into her final halt. There we have it for Maria von Essen and Invoice. A wonderful, wonderful combination. Everybody on the kiss and cry looking very happy indeed. Can she do enough to go into second place? I think she might. At the moment, we have Bianca Nowag-Aulenbrock on 72.543. She needs to beat that to come in second place. very, very close between them. A lovely, lovely combination. Some moments of tension at the beginning of the test, but Maria did a beautiful job of giving this horse confidence as the test went on. A really, really elegant horse. The highlights for sure in the Passage Piaf and the transitions today. Beautiful through the lines of tempi changes and the canter pirouettes. Really, really well ridden and managed by Maria. This horse just has so much energy and activity. They just keep getting better, like I said. 73.283. She goes into second place today for this leg 10 Grand Prix World Cup qualifier as part of the Western European League. Nobody was touching Cathrine Laudrup-Dufour out in the lead on over 83%. Look at that, a 10% difference, just unbelievable. So our winner, Cathrine Laudrup-Dufour and Mount St. John Freestyle for Denmark. Maria von Essen taking second place with Invoice for Sweden, 73.283. Bianca Nowag-Aulenbrock finishing off our podium with Florine OLD for Germany, 72.5. Corentin Pottier, Borja Carrascosa, Domien Michiels, Nanna Skodborg, Merrald, and the fabulous Dorothee Schneider finishing the top 8. And there you can see going further down from top 10 to 17th. Our combinations: Carl Hedin, Alexa Fairchild, Katharina Lorentzen, Lund. So I'm pretty sure the top 14 will come forward to tomorrow's freestyle. Here you can see the standings so far. So Bianca Nowag-Aulenbrock currently in equal 4th, and Nanna Skodborg Merrald in 6th, and Borja Carrascosa there in 8th. All riders that are going to be looking to pick up points tomorrow in the freestyle. No points awarded for today's Grand Prix. Dorothee Schneider in 14th. And Corentin Pottier made it into the top 20 from his fabulous results last week in Neumünster. So let's see what tomorrow has to hold in the freestyle competition and how are those standings going to change. As I said, no change with points today. No points are awarded for the Grand Prix. So here we can see our highlights from today's Grand Prix. Highlights from our winner, Cathrine Laudrup-Dufour. So, some other shows and programs to watch out for on Clip My Horse TV. The CHI Al Shakab is going on at the moment. The horses are trotting up today, ready for the Grand Prix. So the dressage is on the 21st and 22nd. We've got 1 star and a 5-star, I think. Just double check that. Then CDI Lier on the 24th of February to the 2nd of March. And then the Danish Warm Blood Stallion Certification and Gala Show in Herning on the 5th to the 9th of March. As well as the AES Stallion Grading in Poland from the 27th of February to the 2nd of March. The next leg of the Dressage Western European League is the Dutch Masters in 's-Hertogenbosch on the 13th to the 16th of March. That is leg 11, the final leg of this Western European League. We can bring you all of the action for that on FEI TV on the 14th and 15th of March. Some other programmes that you might enjoy: A Day with Juan Matute Gamon. Also, Insights from Icons Family Dynamics featuring Martin and Thomas Fuchs. In a Spirit featuring Gian Sandran and Simon Delestre and Equita London. And finally, John Whittaker, Not a Normal Life, John's Journey Through Time. So lots to watch out for. Also, if you're a show jumping fan, we'll be bringing you the action from the Spring Met Tour, week 3, which runs from the 25th of February to the 2nd of March. The CSI 3-star in Rennes from the 26th to the 2nd of March. CSI 2-star Otomi week 1 from the 19th to the 23rd of February. And also the show jumping at the CHI Al Shakab. So we just get ready now for the prize giving for this Grand Prix. Our sponsor representatives are in place. So we'll see our top 8 coming forward for their lap of honour, and then our top 3 will be coming in for their prizes from our sponsors.
We've witnessed quite extraordinary sport once again. 10% the winning margin. It's an absolute landslide in world dressage terms. We're welcoming places 6 to 4 firstly, and then the podium.
A big thank you to Agria for sponsoring this fabulous event.
Thank you. Thank you.
One of our biggest arenas, if not the biggest arena, actually, as part of the Western European League. Gothenburg have been host to several finals. So here you can see now our riders coming through from the warm-up to join us for their lap of honour. Domien Michiels coming into the arena now with Intermezzo Van Het Middelhoff in 6th place with 70.869%. In 5th, it was Borja Carrascosa and Sir Hubert NRW in 5th place with 70.022% for Spain. In 4th, it was Corentin Pottier and Göteborg Dufour in 4th with 72% for France. Somebody's enjoying their lap of honour. He finished on the podium last week in Neumünster with a 3rd place in the freestyle. Can he jump up from 4th to 3rd tomorrow in tomorrow's freestyle? Have to tune in to wait and see the action of tomorrow's freestyle here on FEI TV. So a quick turnover now as our top 3 get ready to come in